All right, my AP and regular government people, we just got done looking in video 2 on demographic turnout data, whether people vote by different demographics, women versus men, race, who votes more, whites or minorities. Now remember, African Americans looked very close to whites, but that was because there was a big bump because Obama was on the ballot. African Americans have gone back down to where Hispanics are. Who votes more, whites or minorities? Who votes more, old people or young people? Huge, right? Who votes more, educated or non-educated? Who votes more, rich or poor? Striking numbers, aren't they? All right, so it's time for me to make my pitch about making you guys voters and having you guys vote. So we're going to take a deeper dive into why old people vote and why young people don't vote. Why young people don't vote. And then later on we'll talk about how young people vote versus old people. It's an interesting difference. But the big one, I think, is this, all right? Okay, so we've already learned the difference between a presidential and a midterm election. 2008 was a what? Midterm or presidential? Let's see, we're at 220. So 4 years back, 2016, Trump was elected. 4 years back, 2012, Obama was re-elected. 4 years back, 2008 was a presidential, which means 2010 was the midterm following the presidential, where you young people knocked it out of the park at 48.5%. Now the data you looked at on the census chart combined 18 to 24-year-olds, so we kind of have to average them. So in 2010, about 20% of young people voted, as opposed to 48.5 in the 2008 presidential. A plummeting drop-off. Look at this. Now, look, old people dropped down too, but they didn't drop down as much. All right, so open your Ian and go to slide 4. And on slide 4, I want you to draw, here's your topic, 3 conclusions from data in the graph. 3 conclusions from data in the graph. All right, I want you to pause this video and look at this graph and come up with 3 conclusions you can draw from the data. All right, hold on. Before you start, what's this? Midterm or presidential? What's this? What's this? What's that? What's that? What's that? Right? Midterm presidential, midterm presidential. Okay, look at this carefully. Pause it right now. Come up with 3 conclusions and put them in your Ian. All right, you're back. Okay, what did you put? 3 conclusions from the above graph. Now, look, I would give you points and will give you points if it was anything that came from the graph. But here are a few ideas. Here's one idea. Old people vote more than young people in all elections. Is that true? Well, 18 to 24-year-olds, old people, I'm not here yet, don't round up. I'm going to be 60 in December. All right. Do you know what's good about getting old? Do you know? Nothing. There's nothing good about getting old. All right. So that's true, right? Old people vote more than young people all the time. Well, let's see here. What about, anybody get this one? Both old people and young people vote less in midterms or more in presidentials. It depends whether you're a cup half full or a cup half empty kind of person. Is that true? Do both old people and young people go up in presidentials and down in midterms? Up and down and up and down? But this is weird, isn't it? What is going on here? What is going on here? Young people just evaporate in midterms, all right? Evaporate in midterms. Interesting. Anything else interesting? Look really high? Obama. If you said, hey, it was really high in 2008, you would be right. Obama, young guy. Guess when else there was a young guy that had people excited? Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton, a young person that had them excited. All right. Interesting. And then the election, the re-election down. The re-election down. Interesting, huh? All right. So, I will give you points as long as your three conclusions can be justified by the data in this graph. All right, but these are three. Here's the third one I hope you saw. And is this true? The youth vote shrinks more, even more in midterms than does the old vote? The youth vote shrinks disproportionately? A weird thing, right? Okay, so why don't people vote? Why don't young people vote? Are they ignorant or apathetic? All right, look up those two words if you don't know what they mean. Pause and look them up. Because this reminds me of my favorite joke. Do you want to hear my favorite joke? Oh, I see all of your digital hands going up. Okay, I'm going to tell you my favorite joke. But first, I have to tell you my second favorite joke. And to tell you my second favorite joke, you have to know what two words mean. So look them up if you don't know. A masochist, and a sadist. So look up masochist and sadist. I'm going to pause it while you do that. We're back. Okay. So, my second favorite joke. What did the masochist say to the sadist? I'm sorry. Did you hear the conversation between the masochist and the sadist? You're supposed to say no. All right. So the masochist says, beat me, beat me. And the sadist says, no. You get it? All right. That was my second favorite joke. You want to hear my favorite joke? Here's my favorite joke. I asked this guy, what's the difference between ignorance and apathy? And he said, I don't know. And I don't care. Get it? All right. You guys are a tough crowd. You're a tough crowd. You want to hear my favorite lawyer joke? Okay, but I will tell you my favorite lawyer joke. You guys know I'm a lawyer, right? Do you know I'm a lawyer? Does everybody know I'm a lawyer? Look, I pay $200 a year to have this card, so I'm going to show you. I am a lawyer. See, here is my bar card. See, there we go. Does it go into focus? Come on, focus, focus, focus. There we go. All right. I'm a lawyer, bar number 012723. I was the 12,723rd lawyer in Arizona. Go figure. All right. Here's the deal. Ask me in our next Google Meet about my lawyer joke, and I'll tell you my lawyer joke. All right? Deal? Okay. Well, let's look at some interesting data. Now, this is an interesting graph. Now, in most graphs, if you go up, it's good, and if you're down, it's bad. This one's just the opposite. So, take a look at this graph. Figure it out. These are old people. These are young people. Now, and this is the results of a survey where Americans were asked, how much do you follow government and politics in the news? And they had, I believe, 5 options. All the time, often, some of the time, hardly at all, or never. So these are the people, this is the percentage of people by age that said that they hardly ever or never follow politics. So, this is, this is bad, right? So in 2000, 2/3 of young people under 30 years old said that they hardly ever or never follow politics. That's crazy, isn't it? Here's the crazy thing, it didn't used to be that way. Look at this. Back in 1972, young people actually followed politics more than old people. Why? Who can tell me? Who can tell me? It's 1972. What was going on? Well, you know what? Were we fighting a war? We were fighting a war, Watergate, stuff like that. You know, young people were engaged. And then what happened? And then what happened? And then they start losing attention. They start losing attention. What happened? What happened? And then we come to, oh, and this happens. You know what? Interesting. What happened here? I think I know what happened. Guess what happened? Cable TV happened here. From here on, we had broadcasting. Broadcasting. My AP people, this is huge. You need to write these notes and draw a version of this slide, my AP people. Broadcasting. 3 stations. 3 stations. What were they? ABC, NBC, CBS. We had an antenna on the top of our house. I would come home. I'm in grade school or middle school or high school. Guess what's on TV? There's 3 options. ABC, NBC, or CBS. And guess what every one of them are playing at 5 o'clock or 5:30. The half-hour evening news show. Could I avoid it? I couldn't avoid it. The TV was on. There's only one TV. We don't have cable. There's not a million stations. And guess what's on? The news. I watch the news along with my parents. Then comes cable. Cable TV with what? MTV. MTV. And with sports and all kinds of stuff. And now young people can come home, and older people too. Young people can come home and just go into their own room and watch their own TV, and they can avoid watching the news. So, they can avoid watching the news. And what happens with cable TV? A bunch of kids quit watching the news. Now what happens? This is actually good. Young people start engaging in the news more. Why? Now remember, these are data points. It's only being measured here and here, all right? So in the measurement from 2000 to 2004, there was a big drop. Why? Who says the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan? I agree. 9/11 and Iraq and Afghanistan. I think that's what did it. And then it starts to trend upwards again, right? It starts to trend upwards again. My very close friend Gordon says, well, look deeper into this. You know, these guys, these guys just got old and they kept watching the news. These guys are getting born here and they never learned to watch the news. This is a really challenging issue for you guys. A really challenging issue. All right. I think this is very interesting because I graduated from high school right here. I graduated in 1978. I am you guys back here. Right after this divide started to happen. All right. Okay. So there is data that shows that young people aren't following politics. They got a million other things to do. What do you think with smartphones? Smartphones came out in 2007. What do you guys think? With smartphones, is this going to go up, meaning you guys are going to watch less news, or because you have access to so much more, is this going to go back down like this? I don't know. I don't know. I think it's going to go like this. I think you guys are not watching the news on your smartphones. Somebody asked me about this, and let's have a discussion about it. All right, what do we got? I got 15 minutes left. All right, ready? I'm going to erase this. All right, my AP guys, I want you to have drawn this in your notes, all right, with some of those notes on it, all right? Okay. All right, so old people follow politics more than young people. It wasn't always so, right? Vietnam, Watergate. I guess when you're like, you might die because of governmental decisions, you're more engaged in them. When and why the change? So, if young people are following politics less, or not following politics more, either way, right? Following politics less or not following politics more than old people, then they are going to know less about politics, right? Is that true? Is that true? All right. Now here's a weird graph. This is a weird graph because you have to look at the red ones and then you have to look at the green ones. So the red ones are 1972. In 1972 I was what was I, an 8th grader? I was an 8th grader, all right? Shush. Now I did not ride my horse. I did walk uphill both ways. All right. 1972 to 2008. Broken down by age. So here are youngsters. Here are youngsters. Older, and then old geezers. So look at red first. 1972. Now, what is this measuring? They give them a questionnaire. They give people a questionnaire that asks political knowledge questions. Like, here's one. Which party is currently in control of Congress? Who knows the answer? 1, 2, 3. Well, here's the answer. It is divided. The Republicans control the Senate and the Democrats control the House. Okay, so questions like that, asking people by age, and look how young people did back in 1972. They actually did better than old people. That's crazy, right? That's crazy. So, much higher, much higher. Scroll forward to 2008, and young people suck. They know about half as much as old people. I think this is a huge issue for your generation. I really do. I really do. All right, so AP people, this is a huge slide. All right, this is a huge slide. AP people, just like this one was a huge slide. So highlight, circle that one. You need to know these two things and know the difference between them. And this is the kind of thing that they test, all right? A connection between mass media, which is a linkage institution. I think you read about those in chapter 1. And tie-ins to youth engagement and voting. All right, we've talked about this a little bit. All right, so what happened? There was an evolution from broadcasting to narrowcasting. There was also broadcasting, TV antennas, ABC, NBC, CBS, PBS, nobody watched PBS, to narrowcasting, cable TV, internet, smartphones. Now you have hundreds of ways to consume media without having to watch the news. And then something more subtle happens. Something more subtle happens. And that is this concept of news market segmentation. Do conservatives watch Fox? Do liberals watch MSNBC? Why don't conservatives watch MSNBC? Because when they watch it, it pisses them off, right? Why don't liberals watch Fox? Because when they watch it, it pisses them off what's being said. When you are mad at what you are hearing on a channel, what do if you have options? You change the channel, right? You change the channel. Now it's weird. When I was in high school, I remember, that these 3 stations, all of their programs seemed to kind of be like middle of the road. It'd be so interesting for me to go back now and watch some of the broadcasts and see if I could detect a liberal conservative bias. To be honest, when I was in high school, I never noticed it. It was about the anchor. Oh my God, the god was Walter Cronkite. Walter Cronkite did CBS. Now you turn on Fox and you turn on MSNBC or CNN, and it's like we're at different worlds, right? They're approaching, young unaccompanied minors crossing the border. You know, MSNBC's talking about, you know, the tragedy of them being away from their parents, and Fox is talking about how the kids have lice in their hair. You know, totally different. All right. So look, here's the problem. You know, look, when here's the market of media. When you break it into like 3 pieces, well, you know, you've got a big chunk, even if you've got a third. What happened with market segmentation, and now there is like 100 different. There's 100 different options, and if you get a pie like this, then you are rocking it. How do these guys make their money, by the way? How do these guys make their money? President Trump knows about this. He talks about ratings. What are ratings? There is a company called Nielsen. There's a company called Nielsen. I think I'll spell this right. Nielsen. They do ratings. They have thousands of boxes hooked onto people's TVs all over America that record what channel they are on. You are Coca-Cola, and you're thinking about, well, should I buy put a commercial for Coke on Fox News, or should I put it on Nickelodeon or PBS doesn't even have commercials, but you get it? Okay, which one are you going to pay more? You're going to pay more for Fox. Why? Why can Fox say, we're going to sell our commercials for more money than Nickelodeon? Because Fox can say, the Nielsen ratings show that we have 10 million people watching our show at 6 o'clock. Nickelodeon has 30,000. Well, okay, so we're going to sell our advertising space for a lot more money, all right? Now, so it's all, look, it's all about money. It's always been about money, but now it's really about money, because the days of you being able to, with a moderate message, get a big chunk of the market, you know, those days are over. Are they over forever? I hope not, but they're over right now. Fox is knocking it out of the park with about 25% of the market. CNN has about that much. But, you know, Fox was the master at realizing that you could do like a hardcore partisan, political, biased, let's face it, right, news show, and you would get a certain segment of viewers. You would get conservative viewers, and you would get a bunch of them, all right? Now, you're not going to get 1/3 of the country, but can you get 20, 25%? All right, market segmentation. Focus on a slice of the market. This brings us to this concept of selective exposure. If you are a conservative, you are not going to watch MSNBC. It pisses you off. You're going to watch Fox. If you are a liberal, you are not going to watch Fox. You're going to watch MSNBC, because watching Fox makes you angry. All right? So, people get news from the sources they agree with. Does this happen with our cell phones too? Oh man, Facebook has algorithms. They see you buying stuff. If they see you buying a backpack and Birkenstocks, they're going to send you liberal news. If they see you buying a deer hunting rifle and a deer hunting, you know, what are those seats that they put up into the trees? They're going to send you conservative news, all right? They record all of your data. And why? Because they can go to, Facebook can say, oh, look, you're selling, I don't know, what do liberals like to buy? Teslas. That'd be very interesting. Has somebody done a Google search for Tesla? Are they probably a liberal as opposed to a conservative? You know what? Probably. Are they more concerned about global warming? Probably. So, you know what? So Facebook says, look, we're going to sell solar systems to people that have searched for Teslas, right? If you are selling solar systems, how much money are you willing to pay to have a small segment of people that you know have checked out Teslas. Follow me? It's all about marketing. Okay. So, to tie it up, these changes in the media, have they pushed us to more partisanship, to being Democrats and Republicans? Does it have anything to do with turnout? Increased polarization. Polarization is like a magnet, right? Opposites. Where, you know, the poles, the material gathers around the poles, right? Not opposites attract, opposites push apart, right? You get what I'm saying, right? Okay. All right, just a little side note to end this lesson. I found these very interesting. I watched this on a show a couple years ago. These smartphones, have they affected our lives? Have they affected your guys' lives? So here's when the iPhone came out, 2007, all right? So here is 2007. Do you guys think this is true? By the way, black, 12th grade, 10th grade, 8th graders. So, not hanging out with friends, or hanging out with friends. Times per week teenagers go out without their parents. In other words, go and hang out with your friends. What's happened since the iPhone? Plummeted? Is that true? How about this one? Dating. Have iPhones messed up with dating? Oh, you know what I love? I love two things about iPhones. Number one, I see a group of teenagers and they're all standing around and they're all texting, right? And who are they texting? The people right next to them, right? I'll call a teenager and they'll hang up on me. You know they hung up because it only rings 3 times. It goes to the voicemail they have never set up because they've never used. And then they'll text me back. They're like, what? It's a phone. It's more than a texting device. What about this one? More likely to feel lonely. Do smartphones isolate us? Do they isolate young people? Less likely to get enough sleep. How many of you use your phone for your alarm clock? Yes, me too. Me too. All right. So, young people don't vote. Who knows this? My AP kids, you better. Plus my AP kids, you must know the other voting amendments. What are they? 15th? 19th? 24th? And this one, right? What's this one? 2 plus 6, 26? All right, 26th. And in the next video, I'm going to give you my speech as to why you guys should vote, even though you think that you are too ignorant, you don't know enough to vote, because I'll tell you a secret. Old people don't know anything either, and they still vote. All right? All right, see you next time.